What is the energy quantum? Any kind of focus excites one consciousness quantum in one stereotype. One stereotype belongs to one world. Nouveau form belongs to 328 worlds. One stereotype is 1/328th of nouveau form. It is the consciousness quantum. Well, when we focus on one consciousness quantum, on the quantum of intelligent energy plasma, then we focus on the mental sensuous activity, our thoughts and feelings with help of certain inertia. We have thought of something, and this occurs. As I can see, you have difficulties with that. Let's start from physics then. All surrounding us space represents by itself a certain dynamics of quantum sequences. What is the energy quantum? The energy quantum, by conceptions of our scientists, is some indivisible energy potential. That is no spreading of materiality deeper in any way already. But all the universe is presented by way of this quantum. All the universe is holography. The holographic principle lies in the fact that every part of any holographic manifestation represents completely all information about the whole creation. We concentrate our attention on something at some energy plasma level. And this happens at 1/328th of a second. This is that energy quantum which we are able to catch somehow by our nervous activity, our brain activity. Then a certain modification of the surrounding space occurs. If we imagine all surrounding space in the way of superstrings, as scientists do, then we've got an approximate macrocosmos structure diagram. But actually, this diagram is very, very far from what exists indeed. Is it possible to manage without the strings at all? Then it would be impossible to bind these ideas with something. If I talk about the quantum, then the form would be absent, which would help me to describe the dynamics during 1/328th of a second and to tell you how the existing space is formed, how the individual worlds of all us, how the individual worlds of all of us are formed. Each of you is looking at me right now and accept me in their own way, depending on the mental sensuous interaction levels, of which every form focused by you is capable. In fact, everything doesn't look like the strings. We can imagine this very schematically as the strings, but the strings won't spread in a certain single direction. Others picture this like when the space replies to us with its own vibrations. But there is nothing of this kind, because the quantum spreads itself on the whole universe. The universe is that quantum, which we've denied as the universe. This is space at every instant time, which is observed by us, felt, experienced at every instant of time. I repeat once more that the instant is relatively concerned with 1/328th of a second. So, as soon as we fix on some quantum of our current existence, we've cycled this quantum by our focus. This focus is that directed flow of energy plasma, of astral and mental plasma, which has been synthesized already. We've dragged to our self-consciousness with our focus this superstring. It is the universe quantum. Virtually, we've dragged to ourselves the whole universe by our attention. Before we had paid the attention to the current universe existent aspect, this information quantum, that is, the energy quantum, stayed at calm and abstract state, which kind of had no any relation to us. But it is related to any of you, to any form, starting from a human to an ant, which also thinks of something, to a spider, which wants something, and concentrates on this level also. All energy plasma consists of different qualitative levels. I has concentrated on my thought on a certain level. These are levels of my thinking and my psychic state. Virtually, they are the levels of my comprehending, because comprehending is manifested synthesis of astroplasma with mentaplasma. I have dragged with my attention focus all the universe, which has been abstract before that, and has not been having kind of any relation to me, until I have affected this universe level with the dynamics of my thinking, and with my psychism. In this way, I have dragged this thing to myself. I consist of sphurum forms, of specific conceptions about myself and the world. Somebody imagined themselves on positions of the 17th century, or let it be the 15th century, when the conception of the earth resting on three whales existed. Someone imagines on positions of some other scientific achievements. Another person has reached the Newton's conceptions about the round earth and so on. I have dragged on myself the universe by the quality of my thinking, and have modulated myself in the quantum of this space. Virtually, I have quantized my personal reality by my thought and feeling. As soon as my thought has made this operation, the gravity is generated. Since those thoughts are accessible to our thinking, we generate our own space. Even if this is an idea, more abstract conceptual structure, nevertheless we lower it down to the level of the third and fourth dimension of space. Somebody from the billions of people has been thinking on the same level at the moment. These could be not the same thoughts, but the level is the same. They touch the same quantum with their thinking and feeling, and cycle it on their own self-consciousness, on their own sphurum forms, on their own conceptions about the world and themselves. And we use the same quantum and examine this universe. I have my own conceptions, another form has his own conceptions, and we examine this universe differently, from the different points of view. Thus, as soon as such quantized space has been formed, the gravitons are generated. The gravitons give an opportunity to us in this world to reveal the gravitational properties, and together with them we have quantized our thoughts and feelings with the mass. Our thoughts and feelings have started to have particles. There was only electromagnetic field before that. There was a part of photon energy, light energy before that, meaning this was electromagnetic field. As soon as we have lowered it with our thoughts and cycled it on our own conceptions, we basically have transformed electromagnetic field into particles. That is, we have turned boson relations, boson fields, to fermion fields. At once gravitons have been generated as the result of this rest mass generation. The gravitons are the results. They are basically the particles which give conceptions about the third and fourth dimension forms. I don't say the third dimension, because there is no third dimension. Together with gravitons, gravitino have been generated at the same time, which belongs to the next space. It is impossible situation when only gravitons have been generated, when only one space has been generated. It's because there is inertia of thinking. We can't think during 1/328th of a second only, and then stop to think, stop to feel. Our thinking and feeling strongly suffer from inertia. And this inertia makes space to move further, to expand in the next geometric forms, typical to my self-consciousness. In this way, gravitons generate gravitino at once. Gravitino are gravitons which already belong to the next space, cycled on the inertia of our thoughts. When two spaces are generated, there is something between them which differs from other thing. One quantum differs from another one by some duration, by some interquantum interaction. But these expressions are not proper, because there are no interactions between quantums. We activate energy quantums with quantums of our thoughts and quantums of our feelings. We basically build, quantize every space, and thus we create a certain reality. This reality is between two cycled spaces. This reality is called Debraness. My world consists of space, which is steadily cycled by me. There is that distance, that extension between them, which gives time in its totality. My world manifests itself in my imagination, in my self-consciousness, and cut into what each of you imagines. In this way, all worlds, worlds of every people who are present both here and even outside of this building, form some space-time continuum, where all conceptions of every man about the world and themselves have possibility to interact on the same quantum level. Right now, all of you are sitting here, and I'm quantizing you, your imagination with my forum forms, with my conceptions, that is, with the level of my usual thinking, which is typical to me. I try to reduce that mental sensuous activity to you in order for you also to start to quantize world that surrounds you, the surrounding space on the same levels. Because if I quantize in this way, and somebody quantizes their space-time continuum on the levels like the Earth rests on 3 whales, then we won't understand each other. We won't just find points of contact. I will state one thing, you will state another thing, and we won't achieve any result. That's why you influence on me and try to convince me that I'm a fool. I influence on you and try to convince you that you are fools. Somewhere between this and that, something average has been formed. You start to agree with me in some moments, I convince you. When you try to convince me with something, you also achieve this. But you won't. Consequently, space of common interaction has been formed, where we use common forum forms, common conceptions about ourselves and the surrounding world. Before that, you have been thinking that you are alone. Before appearance of my information, you have been living and thinking, I am alone. This is me, this is my body, and I am alone, actually. But someone has come, me, and says to you, guys, what I see is 328 of such persons. There are 328 of them, because I can't see just one. My eyes couldn't see the one. I couldn't perceive you in this way. Our perception system works exactly this way in the given type of reality. In the other types of reality, in their infinite set, we have different properties. There are not 328 stereotypes there, which start to manifest, but 300 or 500. It depends on the information flow density, which structure the world surrounding our forms. We interact on different frequencies, on different qualitative manifestations.